That's me in the future?
Quiet. You're about to say something.
Check. Hello, Sydney. Way to make a drumstick, Timu.
Hey Ned, got any clean towels?
Nah, just use this.
I'm sick of drying myself with these old drum skins. I pay the rent, the least you could do is the laundry.
Dude, you know I'm good for it. I'll have plenty of money when my lawsuit pays off.
In the spider bite at Wonderland?
That'll be instance with all the cream pies.
Childhood.
Really did.
Which is true, means death for us all. Up yours, children. Why does his mind look like that? And we never did.
Welcome to your new favourite podcast about your old favourite show. It is No Kids, Three Money, Simpsons podcast through the lens of time. I am 130, your host this week for the very special holiday edition. I'm Ned.
I'm Matt. And I'm Mitch.
Back again.
Gotta have that picked up.
That was so anticlimactic. I thought it was going to be you.
My fart can say all 50 states in a matter of a second.
I say, Carruthers, you know what's very, very funny? A man dressed in women's clothing.
Yes, quite. Ripping good love.
Yes.
Emphasis on the word ripping.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
that looked like it was wobbling a bit. No, it isn't.
don't worry about it.
Okay.
Alrighty. So back to regular proceedings after the last couple of weeks. I mean, like internet-wise, not actual time-wise for us. But what have we got in store for the people this week?
We have Season 3, Episode 5, Season 11, Episode 17, and Season 21, Episode 19.
Awesome.
Okay.
And we were actually treated to a very decent offering from Season 21 this week.
Wasn't bad. Yeah. The critic reviews were correct
Yeah. It's like
in some capacity.
I sort of specifically made a note about it kind of thing, like how I tend to notice that my opinions are very flavored by the week before.
Yeah.
So I think that we've sort of had this couple of weeks break in recording and I haven't been subjected to a bad Season 21 episode. I was a little more open to it kind of thing. I feel like if I'd watched the bad episode last week, I wouldn't have enjoyed this one as much. Yeah. But it was still a good episode.
Yeah. It had some decent jokes that fit properly and didn't run on too long.
Yeah, there wasn't jokes that just sort of continued way past the point or droned on or anything like that. It was interesting.
These unfortunate people here will be instantly killed. This circle, which I am sad to say we are in, will experience a slower, considerably more painful death.
Good Lord. They called me old-fashioned for teaching the duck and cover method. But who's laughing now?
15 seconds to core meltdown.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
All systems returning to normal. Danger in 7G neutralized. Have a nice day.
Why don't you start us off with a synopsis for Season 3, Episode 5?
I can do that. Titled, Homer Defined. Synopsis reads, Homer accidentally saves the Springfield nuclear power plant and is ashamed when people mistake him for a hero. When another impending meltdown threatens the Shelbyville plant, he is asked to perform his heroic deeds once again. He is lucky again, but this time he is derided as a lucky imbecile. Even more so than he was hailed as a hero.
Big sigh.
Meanwhile, Milhouse's mum forbids him to be friends with Bart as she feels he is a bad influence on him.
True. Yeah. And that's not the first time that storyline's brought up either.
Yeah, no, it happens again when, the Bone Storm episode.
Is it the Bone Storm episode?
Yeah. But Milhouse says, Mom, Bart's smoking.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
She's pushing him down the stairs. Yeah. And then they actually become friends or something.
Can I hang out with you while you do mom stuff? Who are Dan and Sherry Hathaway? Tell me I'm good.
Used to tune down a piano before we got rid of it.
I was about to say, I was like, that was like I swear it was like a tuning piano reference or something like that, but I wasn't sure. So yeah, like we've, as you would have noticed from last week's episode that has been released, we've changed up the formula here a little bit to try and streamline the episodes, make it a little bit, easier for us to like do, easier for you guys to consume, and like more of a reason for you guys to write in. Speaking of No Kids 3 Money Podcast,
it's the kind I like.
For any questions or comments.
Yep.
But I'll start us off with a couple of quotes from the episode, or ones that stuck out to me. You guys have the there's like a couple of back and forths between Smithers and Burns that were quite good in this episode, but just before the meltdown happens and they say something about like Burns starts freaking out and he's like, where's that noise coming from, or where's the alert coming from? And Smithers is like, oh, it's in sector 7G. He's like, oh, who's the safety inspector down there? It's Homer Simpson, sir. Oh, is he a good man, intelligent? Actually, sir, he was hired under Project Bootstrap. President Ford.
Yeah.
President Ford.
I like that it referenced President Ford. Like Homer has the photo of him and Gerald Ford, and he also moves in across the road after George W. Bush moves out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
So they like the writers of the show really must love Gerald Ford in several capacities.
I think he was a relatively popular president.
Hey, I'm a pretty lousy president.
Do the Clinton impression.
What?
You know the one.
I do not.
I'm in my outhouse most of the day.
There's a tool shed out back. I'm in there most of the day.
I've done it with pigs. Those real ass pigs.
I didn't have that one.
I got one quote. So mine is, so the next time Carney folk tell you they're good, honest people, you can spit in their face from me. What? Barney says it to Lisa.
Yeah.
When?
I think they're at Moe's. And
oh yeah, that's right. That's when she starts following him around. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's like in awe of Homer after his heroic bid to save the plant. And yeah, Barney says that to Lisa just off the cuff.
Fucking randomly. He had a good couple of like lines in that first episode, and then there was that like just random ass visual joke of him in the last episode of Burt Power, and he's just fucking moving himself along on a skateboard.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny too. What have you got, Mitch? You got any quotes for this?
I wrote down a couple.
Yeah.
Like when they think the nuclear plant's melting down, and Barney says, "I couldn't have lived a richer life." It's like, just living.
I did hear that one too, and I thought it was quite good. Just what sort of a life has Barney led? Like we sometimes see him in his like sober state, dressed prim and proper. Like there's one episode I can remember where he's walking to Moe's in like a suit with like a like a pocket watch on a chain.
Yeah.
And then someone's saying, "Oh, no, Barney." He's like, "Morning, Mo." He's walking in at like 9 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Or when like the limo pulls up out the front, "Here you are, Mr. Grumble." And then they open the boot and he jumps out.
Isn't that the New York episode?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The other contenders I wrote down. How many times have I told you never listen to your mother? Like talking to Millhouse.
Yeah.
And yeah, she thinks I'm a bad influence. Come on, Maggie, let's go throw rocks at that hornet's nest.
Well, my other two that I've got written down are a great line from Ken Brockman when he's talking to Mr. Burns after the crisis has been averted. He says something about being told lies about nuclear power or something like that, and he just goes, "This reporter promises to be more trusting and less vigilant in the future."
Yeah. I noticed as well, like the other newscaster, Christian, is still there, and he was not in my memory at all, like in The Simpsons. You know, the reporter with the black hair, like the bowl cut looking guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember when he was in it at all and when he dropped off either. So I'm interested to find like where that stops. And he also had a different first name in this one, Scott Christian. I think Kent Brockman called him.
Oh,
okay.
I was like, what the fuck? I thought he was Christian someone.
I don't even, like, as soon as that dude came on screen, I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, he's been in a couple of episodes prior to this in like season 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay. Huh. Haven't even noticed.
Yeah. Still haven't seen Arnie Pie though.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's made an appearance yet.
No.
No.
I don't care.
And my last quote, which stuck out to me, is looking at you with quiet awe, and then... All right, yeah. So it's just after, like, you know, he's been proclaimed a hero and Lisa has, like, become sort of infatuated with the concept of her father being this, like, you know, local celebrity. And she's sitting on the lounge room floor just, like, staring at him while he's trying to watch TV. What are you doing? I'm looking at you with quiet awe. He's like, well, at least it's quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I didn't pick any more quotes.
Yeah, it wasn't a super quote heavy episode.
It wasn't a particularly funny episode. Like,
no, it wasn't.
It
was good.
Like, when I get to my final thoughts for the episode, it kind of sort of like fleshes it out a bit more. But this
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, then.
Be sure to aim your sneeze directly down the microphone.
It's the kind I like.
Please continue.
This is one of those episodes where they just sort of like tend to drive home the message rather than using comedy as like the narrative force behind it.
Yeah.
It's like they sort of, and like in these, like in this sort of season 3 going into season 4 areas when I feel like, not that the meaning starts to drop off kind of thing, but they sort of start to err away from making it like afternoon after school special, for lack of a better term. Kind of like trying to have like a wholesome like meaning or message to the episode, and just sort of like, you know, like they don't particularly like shy away from big concepts, but
Do you think you're better off alone? Do you think you're better off alone?
that's one of 2 this week. There's another honey soundbite on there somewhere as well.
Dinah!
Oh, fuck, I love the new soundboard so much. But I suppose we'll move on to the scenes section of the episode. And like I said before this, it's kind of hard to like actually sort of sit there and categorize like this whole specific scene was important.
Yeah.
So I think it's maybe easier to sort of skew this up into like scene/moments kind of thing. And like my moment or like, you know, thing for the episode is like the whole side story of Bart and Milhouse not being allowed to be friends anymore. Not to say that like I ever had any instances as a kid where like, you know, there was somebody that was a bad influence or anything like that, but I have gone through the concept of like losing friends as a young child.
Yeah.
Like friends moving away and like that kind of thing. And it definitely sucks because like as a kid, you just don't have access to like certain levels of emotional maturity. And it's just, there's certain things that like happen to you at that age that you just, it takes fucking like decades to actually sort of like work out sometimes.
Yeah.
Or like come to grips with how you felt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. It's, like in my own sort of way with a friend from primary school, and like we'd hang out as much as me and any other friend that I had. But this guy like moved away before we started high school. I remember I only ever went to his house once. I remember jumping on the trampoline with him. Like that was my last memory there. And I remember bouncing and like fucking hitting the springs, like going through the trampoline. But yeah, still remember his name, like what he looked like vividly, but I've never ran into him again, never seen him on social media. Like, a good fucking
ghost
20 plus years ago now.
And it's kind of weird as well, like looking at somebody through that lens, because like the specific dude that I'm talking about, like lives in Melbourne, plays drums in a bunch of bands, like I'm sure probably loves The Simpsons. So it's like we kind of like lived parallel lives just separately.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy how many similar people there would be out there like us that we've just never run into.
Yeah, never met. And probably never will.
Yeah.
No.
And that's the glory of like a niche podcast like this. Like it'll hit the audience that it's meant to hit, and that's it. And
you're right.
one day, I'm sure someone in the street will stop us Boardman and go, I know those guys.
Yeah.
Stop fucking talking about me on your podcast. No one's supposed to know where I live.
Just get shirts made up saying, don't mention Boardman.
Yeah.
Turns out he's been in witness protection this whole time.
WPR hat.
So have you
We
guys
should get
got
those
any,
hats.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Have you guys got any like scenes or any moments or anything that stuck out to you through the episode?
I guess it's like a running gag. Every opportunity, I guess, like Homer's file photo when they look him up, like who's in 7G and he's got hair, like he's younger.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then when Burns is on TV, it's just his voice, so they've got a file photo and he's got a lot of hair.
Yeah.
you're right.
It's like a Microsoft Paint drawn on toupee.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
Yeah, like it's slightly different coloured to the rest of his hair too, so it's like an obvious fake.
Yeah, now that I think about it, a lot of those file photos, like he does usually have hair, but it's always like varying degrees of hair. Sometimes it's like small on the top, sometimes it's like fully like kind of like our hair is like yeah. So there's no consistency to it, which is kind of nice as well. The fact that they actually put the effort into making that different each time.
Yeah,
100%. The one scene that I have, it's entangled in a quote, but it was the scene that was sort of, I don't know, depicting Homer's heroism at the same time of him feeling ashamed for it. So like he stood out for all the wrong reasons and knew he was going to get found out. So it was sort of a defining moment of the episode, in my opinion, because like Homer's not an overly big thinker, but he knew straight away. Shut up. The quote that ensued that was, Homer, for your bravery, we award you this ham, this plaque, and a discount coupon book, and my own personal thumbs up.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent.
it's probably the first of many times where like Burnsy has been in a scene with like a thumbs up or just something hand related.
Right. There's the Lenny in the car.
Yeah.
Like, I had a great time. Yeah.
Like this one.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
Where is it? There it is. And there was another one the other day where Burns and Smithers were at something outdoors and like Burns had like a big fluid build up in his hand and Smithers goes, where'd you get the novelty hand from, sir? He's like, it's just a build up, and shakes his hand and it goes back to normal.
Goes down.
Yeah.
And what?
Fucking gross.
Like it goes back to normal size.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the joke.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, that's my only scene that I've got written for this one.
Okay. So I suppose we move on to running jokes / rule of three. And the only one that I've got written down for the episode is that it takes Bart 3 times to understand Milhouse didn't invite him, which isn't particularly like a well, it is still a rule of 3 kind of thing.
He didn't pick up on the vagueness of what people were saying to clearly get a rise out of him. Like,
it was definitely. Well, I don't know. I suppose I don't think the other two were like Martin and Otto weren't trying to get a rise out of him, but the twins definitely were. That was like 100% intentional of like, we're trying to shove it in your face that you weren't there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I've got one in the through line category. So real life through line, when Homer's like sitting in his workstation, like fingering all the donuts essentially to try and find one that looked good.
Yeah.
And then he gets the one that's like, purple.
Yeah.
And then I said, it's the same with our new drinks. Patent pending.
Ooh.
Patent pending.
Well
patent
done,
pending. Patent pending.
Hey, who are you?
And then also foreshadowing for tomorrow when Bart and Milhouse finally get to be friends again. He pulls out from under his bed the Dead Eyes BB gun.
BB gun.
The what BB gun?
Dead Eye BB gun,
that's
it's
right,
called.
yeah.
And there's a guy with an eye patch on it. So-and-so's gel blaster that we may or may not be using.
Yes.
I can't confirm or deny.
I don't know who so-and-so is. Let's just call him M. Wellborn.
That's too obvious.
Yeah.
Call him Mitch W.
Any through lines?
No, I didn't get any for that.
Yeah.
I just got like a final wrap up for the episode.
Yep.
Well, actually, no. Before that, are there any cultural references?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
There's a lot of like the early seasons don't tend to rely on them a lot because they're sort of still spending a bit of time like establishing characters to a degree. There's not like you don't really have to like make a side character that you haven't really introduced like portray a cultural reference for them to be relevant. at this stage of the show, because there's still people that are just like popping up for the first time.
Yeah.
That you need to like actually establish what kind of character they are. So to like, if you were to do that within the context of another bit of pop culture, it would make no sense and would flavor everybody's perception of them in a certain way.
Yeah. I don't think they really need to use too many things to fill out a plot at this point in time, because they're still like doing massive establishing moments for each character, and they have so much to build on still. Whereas when they're putting cultural stuff in, they like are paying homage essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting episode with the dual storylines of Homer and Bart dealing with mental issues. Homer's being imposter syndrome and Bart's being depression and loneliness.
Where'd you go, my little pumpkin eater?
It's so distorted. It's the best. I love it. And Homer's being imposter syndrome and Bart's being depression and loneliness. These episodes tend to drive their message home rather than relying on comedy for the narrative, but the guest appearances were funny, and there's definitely some humor in there if you have a darker tendency for jokes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like you need to, like, not have experienced those kind of things, but just sort of need to be able to laugh at, like, darker things to actually, like, find some humor in, like, some of the dreary things that they say. Because some of them are sort of meant to be portrayed as jokes, I feel, but it depends in which context you approach the show at.
Yeah.
So, if you've got somebody that's sensitive to that kind of thing, then, like, you would not find it offensive, but you just probably wouldn't find it funny.
Yeah. I think it's probably a good like topic for someone of Bart's age to come up against, like having someone else's parents sort of step in and say, hey, look, I don't want you hanging out with my kid. You're a bad influence. And like kids of that age usually don't know any better, and they're just acting how they were built to act, I guess, and they don't see much of an issue with it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And like
don't realize the actual repercussions that may happen.
Yeah, that's it. And like to that point is the same quote that you brought up with, come on, Maggie, let's go throw rocks at that hornet's nest.
Yeah.
It's like Bart doesn't know any better. That's why he does that shit.
Yeah.
But he still has like a attachment to Milhouse for like the gift that he got him, the 2 walkie-talkies. And even he said, Milhouse, just call me up first when you want to use it and I'll turn on my walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
And it's like he knows the process of the walkie-talkie is going to make things harder, but it's more of a one-on-one type.
More of a personal connection.
Yeah. Yep. I've got some critic reviews if we want to hear them.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Just one. Colin Jacobson of DVD Movie.
Does it take to get to the center of No Kids 3 Money podcast? Just one.
What are you Collins up to? Of DVD Movie Guide commented that after the episode Bart the Murderer, this episode marks a regression, saying it was almost inevitable that it would not match up to the previous episode. He went on to say the subplot with Bart and Milhouse was more entertaining. In a way, I agree that like the entertainment factor wasn't as good as Bart the Murderer.
It's I wouldn't say that the side story is more entertaining per se. There's definitely way more like it's the main story is definitely way more high stakes. Like literally the entire town could die if he presses the wrong button.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like in the quotation marks like more exciting. But like I can agree, but I can't agree with the whole like it's a regression kind of thing. Because like I said, they're not. It'd make no sense to make this episode just like rapid fire humor with the subject matter.
Yeah.
It's like you've got 2 people dealing with some pretty heavy concepts mentally that need like time and space to breathe or like actually move the concept forward kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No.
Mr. Simpson, no!
Yeah.
Noticeably MIT.
Eric.
You calling me a biter?
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
The country is broke? How can that be?
Well, remember when the last administration decided to invest in our nation's children? Big mistake.
The Balanced Breakfast program just created a generation of ultra-strong super criminals.
And midnight basketball taught them to function without sleep.
Alrighty. On to the next one then. Season 11, episode
I don't know the
17. Yes.
All right.
You got it
Nice.
right.
Yep.
It's got to remember, it's always 2 behind the season 21.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right, this one is titled BART to the Future. Synopsis reads, after their vacation in the woods is cut short due to a mosquito infestation, the Simpsons stop by at an Indian casino where Bart tries to sneak in and ends up in the office of an Indian mystic who shows Bart's future in the year 2030 as a washed-up rock star living with Ralph, while Lisa is the president of the United States trying to get the country out of financial trouble.
Oh, sorry, I thought there was more.
That's it.
Help! Alrighty. Do you want to start us off with some quotes this time?
Sure, I've got one.
Singular.
Yeah.
I don't get any, man.
Is it the one I got?
Mine
really
is.
heaps for this episode.
Really? I don't know. I guess it was just
Wheelies?
yeah, no, I don't know. Nothing super stood out to me about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's
Yeah,
funny bits, but I didn't pick a quote, you know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
This episode isn't as good as what I remembered it being. to be
No.
honest.
We like when we saw the episode title, we were all like, "Oh yeah, this scene, and this scene," and then we're like, "Oh, that's a different episode entirely."
Where Lisa has a vision.
With
got
the
it
same
mixed up,
concept.
Yeah, with the other one where Lisa goes forward into the future, marries Hugh, that English guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like as soon as this episode started, it looked like the more recent animation style where like you're like, oh, this is going to be a shit episode because it doesn't have that classic look to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got the colors are too
A little more
vivid or something.
defined.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah,
it was
I know what you
still not digitally animated at this point.
Was it?
I think it was season 20 they started digitally animating, right?
Yes, it was like halfway through season 20. And like
The Simpsons
after
movie.
Yeah, after the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was 2008, the movie, I think.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so still
Okay.
nearly 2 decades ago.
Mm.
Fucking hell.
Yikes.
It's insane.
My quote is, listen, dude. Oh, hi, Bart. How much this time? Dude, you got me all wrong. Yeah? Just answer me this. You holding your mooching sack? My little one.
It's my little one.
Yeah. I had that in as a funny bit. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
I'll help you out this time, but only because you haven't out a rotten tart.
The whole table was going, wasn't it?
Ooh, yeah, it was.
Yep.
Whoopsie.
All right. Well, I've got a couple. So,
Yep.
but like I said, like sort of looking back at it, it's like these aren't like quotes that come up all the time, kind of thing, or like quotes that I could probably even remember like off the top of my head. But they're just like funny moments from the episode.
Hey, you.
So that would have been a couple of seconds of silence.
Help.
You think it's over and it just keeps going.
Oh.
All right. So, like, pretty much in like the initial like sequence is like Bart, like sneaking his way into the casino, and then he gets taken to like that head guy's office, and
Ooh, a head guy.
Full of heady goodness.
So yeah, he's standing there with him, and the guy like says that he's gonna have a terrible future, and then says his name, like Bart Simpson. And he goes, "How you know my
Yeah,
name?" He
yeah.
says, "Your father just took out a second mortgage downstairs. You're listed as collateral."
Homer would do that.
Homer would do that, 100%. Probably the only like the next one is probably the only like this and what happened to you, China. You used to be cool, but I felt like that was way too cliche.
Yeah.
Tape. He say tape. Oh. And it always fucks me up as well because he does that initial like little bit on the guitar, and I think the same thing in myself every time. I'm like, oh fuck, maybe I like made that up. Maybe like it doesn't happen, and then he plays that other little section, and then Ralph comes in.
Right.
It's kind of funny as well how they just like don't explain how him and Ralph became friends.
I think it was just sort of implied that they were both deadbeat losers.
Yeah.
But still Ralph has somehow turned out a bit more human.
Ralph is
Bart
like
can mooch off him the easiest.
Yeah.
Ralph is like moderately intelligent and logical.
Yeah.
Like
I'm sick of drying myself with newspapers.
Yeah. I pay all the rent, so it's like he's got his shit together
Yeah.
to some degree.
I just put $1 worth of gas in that thing.
I gotta have a beer in there.
Yeah. That was quite a good quote.
Yeah.
And right towards the end, when Homer starts losing his shit because he realizes that Lincoln's gold is actually a metaphor for all of the American citizens, that lion rail splitting theater going free.
Really went ham.
Yeah, lost it. All right. So scenes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys got?
A funny bit I've got is when the Gabbo truck, Bart gets into the box and the guy picks up the box with Bart in it and he laughs and he goes, "Quiet, Gabbo," like quietly.
Yeah, that's a good throwaway joke because it's just like you could think nothing of it, but it's really implying that this guy is fucking clinically insane.
Yeah.
And he thinks his puppet is
Quiet.
real.
Yeah. And the whole reason Bart got in like Gabbo's box was because they didn't allow minors inside the Indian casino.
Right, that's it, yeah.
And then Homer says, we've got to respect the Indian tradition. And then says, hey, how are ya? Hey, how are ya?
Yeah.
Just completely shitting on them.
Yeah.
Surprised you can get away with that.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple of things, I think.
Oh, there was a couple of things.
Yeah. We'll get to those later.
We will get to those.
I'll say a funnier one first, I guess. More than one that hits true to real life. So mine is encompassed in a quote again, but like it's a bigger quote, so I thought it made up a better scene and it's a better, well-rounded thing to what actually happened in real life too. So, as you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten? We're broke. The country's broke? How can that be? Well, remember when the last administration decided to invest in our nation's children? Big mistake. The balanced breakfast program just created a generation of ultra-strong super criminals, and midnight basketball taught them to function without sleep. More so like the first couple
I just got that.
more so the first couple of lines. Like, as you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
Which is like, this was made.
This is in like 2000.
Yes.
This episode was made.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to go through with the through line that I have with it. So the episode heavily implies that real estate mogul Donald Trump became president and caused a budget crisis that Lisa inherits. In 2015, news media cited the episode as a foreshadowing of Trump's future run for president. The episode was produced during Trump's 2000 third-party run. Dan Graney told The Hollywood Reporter in a 2016 interview that the thought of a Trump presidency at the time just seemed like the logical last stop before hitting bottom. It was pitched because it was consistent with the vision of America going insane. In an interview with TMZ in May 2016, Matt Groening said he thought it was unlikely that Donald Trump would become the president of the United States.
I can record a podcast in 3/5 of a second.
So yeah, kind of creepy that they've alluded to Trump being in some form of power yet again.
Yeah. One of the
What do you mean
predictions.
yet again? He's the president.
He is now.
Like
Yeah, he is right now.
Again,
Oh,
a
I know.
prediction again. Oh,
Yeah.
And yeah?
Predicting the future.
Right.
He is president again, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in 2016 to 2020, then he lost to Biden, and now he's president again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That bastard stopped my Pokemon cards from coming back from America in a timely fashion.
Motherfucker.
That's right, of course. Stupid
Still
tariffs.
waiting.
Yeah. Lame.
All right, I've got for scenes is just like Bart moving into the White House because it sort of like flips the initial part of the story on its head with like the quote that you brought up. Like just before that, he obviously goes to his parents first to try and get money, and they just like blow him off because you're a fucking loser. Like, we don't want to help you. We're sick of helping you. Please leave us alone. Then pretty much it is the next like line out of Marge's mouth because like Bart then like leaves Flanders' place, fucks up at the gig, decides that he's going to go and move in with Lisa in the White House, and he's bothering her what looks like in the Oval Office, and Marge just walks by the door and goes, "Be nice to your brother, Lisa."
Yeah, they're in the
He's a dead
background.
shit, but now it's your problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always one straggler in like a friendship group / big family.
No, there
and it happened to us.
What are you guys looking at me like that?
I sleep in a big house with my mom.
Oh, fuck. I have to laugh or it'll hurt.
She lives with me. What scenes do you have, Mitch?
I liked how, Bart was drinking Future Duff.
I say, Carruthers, you know what's very, very funny? A man dressed in women's clothing.
Yes, quite. Ripping good laugh.
Yes.
Ripping good laugh. Yeah, that. Just the Duff is called Future Duff in the future.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's like got a light up can and
Yeah.
sort of like Christmas lights on a can if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Or like a Las Vegas sign sort of thing.
Yeah. Pimped.
There's a lot of like jokes like that throughout the episode, and it kind of like also goes back and forth. I won't touch too much on it because it's in my final thoughts anyway. But running jokes. There was a couple, well, not a couple in this episode, but there was like a bigger question that I wanted to ask. So obviously we had like the 3 R's, running jokes rule of threes. We had the 3 R's kind of thing, which is the reading, writing, and what was it? Like reading, writing, and refilling the...
Yeah, it was something to do with the oceans.
Refilling the oceans, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Refilling the oceans.
Yeah.
Because they've apparently been drained.
Yeah.
But the W is the gag.
But that's the bigger question that I wanted to ask, because is it a running joke that the word writing is spelled I can recall another instance, but I can't place it exactly. Oh no, I've got it. As I said it was
Did you say Smartron?
it's Ken Brockman. He says like reading, writing, and
maybe building a little fort. That's it.
no, he says like reading, writing, and arithmetic, but he says the 3 R's.
Ah. That was not meant to be.
Oh.
R.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Yeah, so if you're sitting at home and you're screaming at the fucking screen right now because you know of the other instance that this has happened, because I swear it's not only those 2 times, there's maybe 1 or 2 others that it's actually happened, but I'm not going to go through the effort of looking it up.
Yeah. We won't.
That's your job.
Put it in the comments below.
Yes.
Is it wrong to do nothing? You be the judge.
We've done nothing and we're all out of ideas. That's not telling Gene Krupa to stop going boom, bap, bap, boom, bap, 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 bap. Lots and lots of blue. Lots of blue in there. Alrighty. So, as we alluded to earlier on in the episode, there's some pretty fucking rough through lines for this. We all sort of looked at each other at that point in time and we're like, oh.
Yes.
Oh my God. So, I can't remember what the quote was, but it was...
Matt loves rootin', Keegs loves cameras, everyone's scared when Ned slanders. Maybe the worst one so far.
I've got to keep cutting that out.
What is that? What's that from?
Oh, it's just some random Instagram video.
Okay.
I don't even know. Yeah, I can't remember what the quote was. It was something to do with like Pakistan bombing India or India bombing Pakistan or something to that effect.
Something that happened very recently.
Obviously, that had happened like way back in the day. They've always had conflict.
Right.
But very, very recently in times, there has been like extended and like conflict has started ramping up between India and Pakistan again. It feels like this has also happened with another like potential war situation earlier on in this, like the podcast run as well. So this is like the second, through line we've had to mass genocide.
Oh, there was the one in the season 21 episode with Sacha Baron Cohen too. Remember the strip club?
right,
the
yeah.
Gaza strip club or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, literally as we, watched a news report earlier of that still fucking happening.
Yeah, it was kind of, I don't know if ironic's the right word for it, but Krusty was the one that read out that line that you just said.
It was. That's right. And he says something about like the difference in between Pakistan and a pancake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the joke.
That was the joke. I can't remember what the punchline was, but it was something fucked. And it was just like, it's like if this happened, like, if we recorded this episode a month ago, that would have made, like, no effect whatsoever. It's just purely fucking timing of, like, oh, fuck.
Okay. I don't know any pancakes that were nuked by India.
Fuck.
That was the punchline.
Help!
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. It's like, if you're the dude that wrote that, you obviously aren't thinking 20 years into the future.
No.
Or like,
you wouldn't think they'd still be not squabbling. That's a terrible word to use, but you wouldn't think they'd be at war over the same thing they have been for 20 years.
Yes. And you wouldn't even, like, it's just one
Squabble! Looks like a squabble!
Not that anyone's ever going to bring it up kind of thing, but it's like, surely, like, seeing, like, if you're that guy and you see that in the news and you're just like, fuck, man, like, you'd kind of constantly be worried of, like, is this going to come back and bite me because of, like, this?
Yeah.
Am I going to lose my career because these guys can't stop fighting?
Or like,
and I made a flippant comment about it
some people,
20 years ago.
Yeah, well, it does happen. Like, people get deep dived on a lot.
Yeah.
So
Fuck
it
that
always
shit.
comes out and airs itself at some point.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. It's like, you're writing
I don't think anyone cares enough in a cartoon context.
You're writing a throwaway line in a cartoon. It's like, you wouldn't even really be able to, like, pin down who actually did. It's always going to, like Louis C.K. kind of thing.
Yeah. the bum with hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Got 2 reviews for this one.
I gave him. But a couple of years, I'd hit the clubs, slowly get my career back, and I'd have hair. Is that the bit you're talking about, Louis C.K.?
Oh, we're just talking about the fact that he, had some weird, like, sexual allegations and stuff, and was now just, like, back to being him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just sort of, like, one of his older bits was he would trade places with a bum who has hair.
No, I haven't seen that bit.
Yeah.
I think I've only watched, like, one or
Like
two
I'd
of
trade
his specials.
places, and then the bum would lose all the money he'd earned, but he'd hit the clubs and then rise through the ranks again, and he'd have hair. Like, he's basically done that. Yeah.
All right, so reviews.
Yes.
Final thoughts.
While reviewing the 11th season of The Simpsons, DVD Movie Guide's Colin Jacobson commented on BART to the Future, writing, "This kind of fantasy episode can be hit or miss, and that trend holds true here. However, more of Future succeeds than flops. Though a few gags bomb, most of them prove pretty good. At no point does this become a classic, but it amuses much of the time."
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the first time we've actually sort of had a relatively similar, like,
Yeah, that's fair.
outcome as that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I was more excited going into the episode, and then as I got to the end of it, I was like, this wasn't as good as I remembered. There's a lot of stuff that you sort of like look at through rose-colored glasses as a kid, I suppose.
For sure.
Definitely.
And it's also different in the context. Like, if we were just sitting there watching it, it probably would have been funnier. But if you're sitting there actually, like, trying to pick through it, it changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is Hayden Childs of the AV Club wrote in 2011 that the episode was not so good, although better than many of the real stinkers yet to come at that point. Still, it utterly failed to rise to the challenge of Lisa's wedding, which was the other one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good he had a comparison handy
Yes.
to chuck in there
I mean,
because
the only comparison, really.
yeah.
Actually, no, there's another one that's apparently rated as like a quite good episode. It's like late in the 20s. It's called Barthood.
Right.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen like clips from the episode, and it looks all right. It's a parody of a movie called Boyhood.
Right.
Also never seen it.
No.
Because I don't watch movies.
You've watched some recently, yeah.
Nice.
They've been good.
Yes. We watched Birdman the other day. It was really good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched that.
Oh, dude, watch it. It's fucking
Yeah.
good.
With Michael Keaton, right?
Michael Keaton,
Yeah, right.
Edward Norton's in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good movie, man.
I'll have to
What
check
did we watch
that out.
before that? Which is something like the day before.
Yeah, we watched 2. The fucking George Clooney one from Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, that's right. That was weird.
Does that have
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, is
Salma
it?
Hayek.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting. It's like a
cult classic.
Is that his first movie? I think that might be his first one.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
Like the first acted one.
Because he's in it.
He wrote part of it.
as
He
like
didn't
a
produce it.
co-starring
I
role
thought
for,
that
like,
was one
half
of
the movie.
like before Pulp Fiction.
Oh, right.
There was this or
I
something.
think it might have been his first, one of his first scripts.
He wrote it and like starred in part of it, but he didn't direct it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is like, I think he generally directs everything from then on.
Yeah.
But I think Pulp Fiction might have been well before that.
No,
So
okay.
he was relatively established.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's that then.
Oh, I see. Then everything is wrapped up in a neat little package.
Well, we'll do that with my
Thank you.
final thoughts.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure people like this really exist, but I'm glad I don't know any, in referring to BART. It's a great hypothetical they have come up with in a very quotable episode. So I thought at the time, but now that I sort of look back at it, it's, not particularly. Like I said, there's a couple of like really cliche ones, like, hey, China's still cool, and like those kind of things that would like permeate people that haven't even seen The Simpsons, but I wouldn't fit into what we're doing here anyway. It seems plausible that somebody like Kearney could be a Secret Service agent, and Milhouse is like still hanging around Lisa 30 years later trying to win her over in just like the most pathetic ways. And then to play on your point of the future Duff, I also love that some things are very futuristic and others aren't. Like, you've got the future can of Duff, but then Bart still carries around a tape deck.
Yeah, right.
As he's like
and a frisbee.
A frisbee. And then the fact that there's a Hustler Superstore. The fact that,
right next to the White House.
The fact that they thought magazines were going to be that big of a thing, and like, because it's supposed to be in 2030s. That's only 5 years from right now.
Yeah,
You don't see magazine stores anymore.
No.
Magazines don't exist. They exist online.
Yeah.
It'd cost way too much to print anything these days.
Yeah.
Yep.
No one reads
When's the last time
analog media anymore.
What?
When's the last time you bought a magazine?
I didn't. Well, yeah, the bought is a relative term kind of thing.
We're out of bought magazines.
I got given a magazine a couple of weeks ago, but it was like a essentially.
Come
like
along,
free...
given.
What?
Come along, given.
No, my son is also named whatever the fuck you just said.
Given.
Yeah, I got given one a couple of weeks ago, but that was only because it was like. Had like reviews for our album in it and stuff.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
Sort of, yeah. So it's like sort of very specific. But the last time I bought a magazine,
When did you bought one?
I can't remember.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I reckon the last magazine I would have bought would have been like Picture or Zoo magazine.
Yeah, probably.
Like the fucking softcore porn.
Are they even still a company?
Zoo rings a bell.
Yeah.
Like from the early 2000s.
I don't know if they're still a company or
Like
not, but
20
like
years.
Real Life Through Line at Elton Chong the other week, there was like Picture mags literally right behind where you were drumming.
What?
Yeah. There was like a magazine rack behind you, enough to necessitate an entire rack.
I don't even have a mag. Let alone many mags.
Oh.
Wow. All right. Do we get through this last one?
Huh?
Do we get through this last one?
Are we going to have a break or are we going to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
That's a better idea.
Yeah.
I like it.
Making the way downtown, walking fast, faces past and I'm homebound.
Come on, everybody! A whale needs help!
Why should we? Yeah, where was that whale when my mom moved out?
Whales are mammals like us. They're sensitive and deeply intelligent.
Nerd!
Anyway. Alrighty. Season 21.
Kings
episode...
loves cameras. Everyone's scared.
Everyone's scared. You're right. Right. Season 21, episode 19. The Squirt and the Whale.
Yeah.
There.
Synopsis reads, Homer builds a wind turbine in the yard, but the house only gets electricity when the wind is blowing. Bart prays for more wind. When a windy storm comes through the town, Bart and Lisa survey the damage and discover a beached whale. Lisa gets the townsfolk to help move the whale back to sea, but they fail. Lisa stays with the whale overnight, but the whale is dead when she wakes up. The police blow up the whale to get rid of the body. Later, Lisa spots 2 young whales offshore and assumes they are whales' children. When sharks surround it, Lisa and Homer ride in a boat to kill them. When activists prevent them from killing the sharks, the father whale arrives to protect the young whales. How many times?
You know what? He does say whale a lot.
I was like, did I fuck with this synopsis?
Halfway through it, I was like, is he laughing because he fucked with it, or is he laughing because of how dumb it is?
Yeah. Oh,
I can't believe you didn't fuck with that.
Yeah. I don't think I did. No. That's how it came.
Just the... What?
Yeah. Fuck.
Alrighty. Quotes for the episode. Do you guys have any?
Got one.
I've only got one funny bit that I wrote down. No
Okay.
quotes.
I've got 3.
Okay.
Like I said, once again, they're not fucking, not going to permeate anybody's like fucking, these are my top Simpsons quotes or anything,
Yeah.
but they were fucking funny. If you were to just look at the Simpsons in the perspective of season 21, these are like gold comedy jokes as opposed to what we're usually served up week after week. Just that first little interaction that he had with the Danish dude. And he says something about like, oh, if you can chuck it on the back of my car, like I'll pay for it. And he's like, Lars, get the twine. And then Homer starts like umming and ahhing about it.
Yeah.
Cuts back and he's like, too late, Lars got the twine. Some random dude standing there with twine.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess good.
Like he's going to tie a wind turbine to the top of his truck with fucking twine. Great. Oh, that's right. So yeah, just after Lisa has like found the beached whale and is trying to corral all the people nearby to actually help her get it back into the water, she's appealing to the bullies who are sitting at like a beachside cafe thing. And she says to them, they're sensitive and deeply intelligent. And Jimbo just turns to the whale and goes, no.
Yeah. Nice.
Fucking great.
Yeah. That's funnier thinking back on now.
Hey, buddy, did you catch a load of the whale? Pardon me. Then fucking just a like could probably be like an all-time Homer quote because it just like encapsulates how dumb he is and how like content he is with how dumb he is, kind of thing. It's like you meet people in your life that are dumb and that angers them, kind of thing. You get what I mean? But then there's people like Homer that are just like blissfully unaware, or not blissfully unaware, but they're just like at peace with how fucking stupid he is.
Yep.
In that little dream sequence where the whale gets picked up and it's just about to go back in and he pops up behind Lisa and he goes, it was my idea to put the whale in the water. Just so dumb.
Yeah. A passing comment.
Yeah. Well, and then like you can even add later on when he after the whale is like unfortunately perished and he tried to comfort Lisa and he says like, don't worry, honey, he's up there on God's beach now. He doesn't want to be on a beach.
Really doubles down.
Just a fucking idiot. All right, what do you guys got?
The one that I have is I think when Homer is sitting in Lisa's room and Bart comes in and he says, I'm trying to be a sensitive father, you unwarranted moron.
Unwanted moron.
Unwanted moron, yeah.
Oh, that was a very good touch.
Yeah.
Mitch?
Yes?
Have you got something?
The bit that I liked the most was because they've got the wind power for the house and Bart and Lisa, like one of the gags was they're playing Wii tennis and the power goes out and then they just hit each other with the Wiimotes.
That's right,
And then the power comes back on, but they just keep hitting each other.
And when the power does come back on, the character that was like on the opposite side of the tennis court is now just standing next to the other one and they're just beating each other with their rackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
The fuck is going on out there? Anyway.
Kids. Let me rephrase that. Kids.
Yep. That's all for funny bits that I've written. Oh, except for right near the end, I guess, that we all just died laughing at, thinking it was a bald eagle.
Oh yeah, that was great. Lisa like pushes the harpoon out of the way because she sort of understands that the activists are actually right and that she shouldn't be harming any
sharks.
creature.
Yeah.
As she pushes it away, he fires it and kills a seagull. Bursts into feathers.
It was like a split second too.
Yeah.
Which is season 21 has always been good for like good, like quick visual gags. There's that one with the train from a couple of weeks ago that we were pissing ourselves at. That was really funny.
Yeah.
But they're generally very bad outside of those, so they lose effect. And I would say like this one is all the more better because it's not surrounded by a standing pile of shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So any standout scenes?
I've got one. So the scene is Lisa thinking she can hear the whale. And this is like after the whale's been blown up and she's walking down whatever street Mose is on. And she like hears some sort of whale noise and then moves a step forward and Mose like oiling hinges on a door.
That's right.
And then sort of imitates the whale sound. And then the next scene when Lisa keeps walking is Martin sort of wailing, but you don't know it's him. You think it's the whale again, and it pans out and Martin's getting wedgied by one of the bullies in the alleyway. And then the next scene, another few steps, there's like a mime like doing random shit and then like squeaking a balloon and making a whale of the balloon and then gives it to her and it pops.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a pretty good
and then he
way
made
to explain
Made
it.
a violin and squeaks the balloon.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That was it.
That's
also
good.
rule of threes.
Yeah.
Right.
3 things.
Yep.
I like it.
I always said it.
It's the kind I like.
We got a soundboard.
The only thing I've got is a bit of a through line, which is their wind fan makes the electricity meter go backwards, and then Homer thinks they're going back in time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you
so it's a
mentioned
bit
that,
of a time travel.
Yeah, to the concept of time travel from the last episode. Yeah, 100%. That's got to be like a. Oh, maybe not. I wouldn't say like they wouldn't like make that a. It's just that one's probably coincidental. Because like there's sometimes like we look at the way the through lines are in the sense of like there's generally a lot of like big similarities in between. Not so much the season 3 and season 11 episodes, but a lot of the time between the season 11 and season 21 episodes, because we tend to find that they were losing their way a little bit, so they sort of started looking back and taking inspiration from those episodes. So there tends to be a lot of like recurring characters and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like in concurrent episodes, which is one of my through lines, is the fact that
Please
like,
continue.
Okay.
there's not very many episodes that like Milhouse and Kearney are like prominently featured. They're prominently featured in the last episode where like Milhouse is an advisor to Lisa and Kearney is part of the Secret Service. And then they have some random scene on the beach in this episode. I can't remember exactly what happens, but it's just specifically them. It's literally only Milhouse and Kearney on the beach and them interacting. So that to me feels like more like someone was watching the episode from 10 years ago and going, okay, let's put these two in it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay then.
Very specific.
And then, my other through line, which is just a straight like rip, and this has to be like a reference. I can't remember who says the words, but someone says the words "too much electricity." Literally, the next line out of a character's mouth is "Apu."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like a 2-second joke. Can't remember what he says or what he's alluding to, but like the fact that they say the words "too much electricity," then show Apu, 100% that's a callback.
Yeah.
To what I explained to you before,
Yeah.
but you understand what I'm talking about, is the
Too much electricity.
the Hurricane Eddie episode, yeah.
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 Might want to wear a hat. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty clever.
Come on in, it's your master bedroom. Oh.
I've got one cultural reference. That's what we're up to, right?
Yeah.
So the explosion of the whale carcass and the following debris raining down on onlookers is a reference to the iconic 1970s failed removal of the Florence whale carcass.
Wait, that's
by
actually
explosion.
a thing?
Yeah, so it happened
By
in this-
explosion.
Yeah.
They tried to blow up a whale.
Yeah, with TNT.
What
And
the fuck?
like bits of whale landed on real humans.
Oh, like burning bits of whale.
Probably.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's fucking intense.
Let's see if anyone actually died through the Florence whale. Okay, I don't think it killed anyone.
Okay.
Aw.
Nah, it didn't stand out. Some just skip this.
That sucks.
We tried.
Is there any more cultural references?
No, that was it.
Well, give us a few reviews and I'll do a final thought and we'll get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Okay.
Robert Canning of IGN gave the episode 9.3 out of 10 and remarked that the episode was an absolute gem. He also stated it was hilarious and heartwarming. In a time when many are saying that the series has lost its magic, Sunday night's episode proved that even the old timers can show you how it's done once in a while. He concluded that it was the best episode of the season so far.
Yeah, I can somewhat agree with that. There has been another like good episode this season. I can't remember which
American History, excellent one.
Yes, that one was relatively good. I'd say they're pretty much on par.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Sort of keeping up.
Yeah.
And then Emily Vanderwerf of the AV Club gave the episode a B. She stated, I thought it was a really well done version of a story we've seen a number of times, where Lisa becomes involved with some sort of improbable cause, finds herself disappointed, and is only brought out of a bad mood when her family rallies around her, but also remarked that the episode tried too hard to push for a happy ending.
It's a fucking kids show. You're not supposed to, like, I don't understand that cynicism that, like, some of these reviewers have of, like, oh, exactly that. Like, they tried too hard to for kids. Why are you supposed, what do you want to leave a bunch of kids with a bad taste in their mouth?
Yeah, exactly. And
Teach a
The
bunch of
Simpsons
8-year-olds
is...
about the harsh realities of depression. Like, what the fuck is wrong
Yeah.
with you?
The Simpsons has always ended on a good note,
Yes.
more or less, so it fits the theme.
Even way darker shows do it.
Yeah.
Like Family Guy and stuff like that. They still do have that like wholesome, like family orientated like values to them and sort of like instill them over an arc in an episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems fucking weird to me.
Yeah. Can't wait to watch
Why
some
would you
Family
take
Guy after
umbrage
this.
with that? It feels like one of those things that it's like, oh, I have to have a negative point. Therefore, I'll just pull some bullshit out of my ass.
Yeah.
Have you got any other reviews?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, final thoughts. Surprisingly good episode of season 21. No bad jokes. Like, there wasn't any joke. Jesus.
I
There
just
wasn't
leave that
any-
then.
Like, I can probably say that even in the American History Excellent episode, there might have been one or two jokes that was like, all right, this is just going on a little bit too long. There wasn't anything in this episode that I can think of that lingered like it usually does in
Yeah,
season
you're right.
21. And it's kind of like to say, we've been watching a lot of Family Guy, right? Think of specifically like that scene that me and you were sitting here watching. I think it was earlier with the was Will Ferrell and Stewie. There's like a whole literally like 2-minute sequence where like Stewie finds something unfunny at a Will Ferrell movie.
Going to Will Ferrell's house.
Leaves, gets a like plane ticket, sees him like taking off, landing in LA, getting in a limo, going and buying
Waiting
a
in
lighter.
lines and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it took
Goes
a
all the way to
while.
Will Ferrell's
Yeah.
house, like 2 minutes of silence just
Yeah.
for him to punch him in the face and go, that's not funny. Like,
Yeah.
that's a joke that has, like, you know, a time that pays off.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these other season 21 episodes that we've been watching have, like, just like these 20 to 30 second sequences that don't make any sense. It just leaves it in this weird ass middle ground. It's like, you need to go the full length with it or just make this, you know, short and sweet and move on to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, there's just a lot of like really tight humor within this episode. I wasn't irritated throughout the entire viewing. So maybe my standards aren't the highest for this season, but still a solid offering nonetheless. And there's also no side plot in this episode whatsoever.
Yeah, no.
So they did it was one of those things. It was like, not to say that there wasn't a side plot, because you could say that there was sort of like two halves of a story, really.
It's like the hurricane and then there's the whale.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no, yeah. Is that when?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that order.
She's
Yeah.
Yeah, so it that also surprised me, like considering how like highly rated everybody else found the episode and like how happy we were with it compared to what we're usually offered. Considering that I find that some of the episodes that don't have a side plot are a bit weaker.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times the side plot's kind of like either they're like tackling a big concept within the main story and then they use like the side plot as just a vehicle to make jokes in between it, or they have an episode like the season 3 episode where it's like two characters are kind of simultaneously dealing with sort of similar things and it just shows how they both end up working their way out of them. Yeah. So like I tend to find that episodes that just have a main story, especially in these later like seasons, are very weak. So it was surprising that they didn't have to revert to one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Sounds good.
All right. You can find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and email us at nokidsthreemoneypodcast@gmail.com. We'll speak to you guys next week.
Bye.
You're not mad at me, are you?
So we asked ourselves, who's behind the badge? Police? Cops? Police cops.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about that is...